5 side split stretching starting right now. We do this every day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, because if I'm here and you're here, eventually six. Oh man, I'm super off balance. And what's going on? 7, 8, 9. Let's do one more. 10. Whew. It looks like my microphone on YouTube is connected well this time. But I just took my glasses off in the middle and I started losing balance because I got a microphone clipped to the side of this and the green light was not turned on, even though I turned it on a couple of seconds ago. So I don't know what's going on with the connection on that microphone, but I may or may not fumble with it once or twice more, and I'm just letting you know. All right, that was hip curls on one side. I hope you took that second or two of opportunity to relax and give it some love because we're going to get right into the other side. Let's go. High knee. Open up the hip. Point the knee directly to the side. Ooh, try to maintain your balance. If you're feeling super unbalanced today, feel free to grab onto something. I recommend the wall so you can just gently extend your arm out, all gracefully, patiently waiting for the wall and your balance to work. And we can continue from there. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's 1. High knee, open up, ankle up, down and back. That's 2. 3, 4. If you're really, really ultra focused on trying to get your muscles to work as hard as possible on every single rep, this stops becoming just the warm up. It gets really intense. And if you're really focused on trying to bring your ankle up here, for example, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to stay balanced. So don't feel embarrassed. Use that wall. 8, 9, and 10. Okay. Remember to breathe. I don't do enough of it, so don't follow my pattern because I gotta talk occasionally. Have a sip of coffee, or actually, don't. It's nighttime for you guys. Don't do that. Um, have a sip of water, maybe some chamomile tea, and let's get ready to go into hip cars going backwards. Sorry, I'm dumping this one. Turn it off. It's already off. That's why I have my issues. Switch it up for another. Okay, hip cars, other side, back, side, ankle, oh, knee, back, side, ankle, knee, back, side, ankle, knee. Whew, I think that's 4, 5, 6. If you're just hopping in, you have no idea what's going on. We're doing some hip warm-ups. These are called hip cars, and it's all about moving your leg through its full range of motion, or as much of it as you can get, using your own muscles so that you get stronger and you move better. With that spiel, I forget to count entirely, so let's just call that 10. Give your hips a little bit of love, give your hips a little bit of a pounding, loosen up those muscles, and take a sip of water. We're going to get right into warm-up exercise number 2. Whew. Warm-up exercise number 2 looks a little bit like this. We are trying to bring our belly button down towards the ground, and if this looks like a hamstring stretch, that's because we are focused on the hamstrings. If you cannot get this deep, if you're a little bit higher up, that's totally okay. It is part of the journey, and all I want you to do is make sure you're feeling tension building in the hamstrings. All right? Take some nice, slow, deep breaths. Relax. And keep on focusing on bringing the belly button down. If your knees are slightly bent, that is okay. If your knees hurt, bend them. It's okay. It doesn't have to be totally locked out and straight. You can still stretch your hamstrings with a slightly bent leg. Cool? All right. Once you've been here for a little bit, try to bring your belly button down. You're feeling your hamstrings get tighter and tighter and tighter because you're trying to get deeper and deeper and deeper into the stretch, and you're going deeper faster than your muscles actually just chill out. That's good. That's perfect. That's exactly what we're doing. All right. Time to upgrade. Time to level up. We're going to start bending one knee and straighten out the other. It's going to cause a little bit of this rotation in the hips. And I want you to feel your legs kind of shifting inside there, inside the leg. Oh. Because your leg is under so much tension from the hamstring stretch, all the muscles, when they move around, you start really feeling them. And that is exactly what we're going for. There's no real number on this. I'm going to just do this until at least my legs feel like they're moving a little smoother. And the goal is to just feel like suddenly you're doing it better. It feels like it's smoother. It feels like something has just magically clicked into place. And I know it sounds kind of like vague and weird, but that's the point of the warm up. Is to get to the point where all the weird things going on with your body stops being weird and is a little smoother in how it operates, so that you can go do stuff, right? So let's do a couple more of these. Let's do 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, stand up. Come on up. shake out the legs for a second. Let those hamstrings relax a little bit. And then we're going to do some thoracic rotation. So we're actually right back into the same position we were just in a second ago. We're folded down, focusing on the hamstrings. I'm going to bend one knee. Right now my left knee is bent. Taking my left hand, putting on my right leg. I'm pushing to help rotate the spine and point my arms up into the sky. My shoulder blades are contracting. I'm pulling on the arms. I'm trying to point my fingers behind me. I'm trying to look at my fingers so my neck is also rotated. And come on back down. Do the same on the other side. My right knee is bent. My left leg is straight. My right hand is going across the body, pushing against the left leg to help rotate the chest to the left, to rotate the neck to the left. I'm going to point my hands behind me. Feel the rotation in the spine. Feel the shoulder muscles contracting. Feel the, I don't know, maybe tingly sensation in your fingers as you point behind you. And come back down. That is one rep. We're going to do 5 of these. All right? Take them nice and slow. Enjoy them. Really stretch out your back. And let's go. Here's number 2. And 3. Remember to take steady breaths as you go. I think that's 4, or maybe that was 3, part 1 and part 2. So this is 4, part 1 and part 2. And finally, 5. Okay. I hope your upper chest, your upper back feels a little bit looser. Your arms, now that you have come out of that, feel a little bit more warmed up. Maybe you need to relax some of those shoulder muscles now because you were flexing so hard trying to reach behind you. And if that's the case, you can sort of give yourself a little hug and a slap just to get the shoulder moving in the opposite direction and not just out and back behind you. Okay. Those are our first 2 warm-up exercises. I got something in my eye from smacking my shoulders. I guess that is a great way to get dust in your face, even though I'm wearing glasses. Okay. Let's move on to warm-up exercise number 3. It's called the Cossack switch, and it is going to be a little bit intense. This warm-up is to get your blood pumping, to get your body temp up, to get your muscles loosened. It's not to prepare you for even more intense exercise. So this is actually going to be just kind of the intense thing. And you can see it 2 ways. You can see it as the hardest part is almost over, or you can see it as this is the warm-up. I encourage the first one because it makes you feel a lot better. Okay, cool. Let's go. We're opening up the legs. We're trying to drop down to one side. What is happening here is your knees are traveling in the direction that your toes are pointing. So point everything out kind of 30, 45-ish degrees. As you play with the position, you can decide where you want to be. That is totally okay. I'm going to rotate this way so you can see it more clearly. I want you to bring your knees over your toes. I want you to feel the stretch in the Achilles tendon. I want you to feel the stretch in your calves. I want you to feel the pressure in the front of your ankle. I want you to feel that pressure in your hip as you hang out here. You can put your elbow down over your leg to take some of the pressure off your back and your obliques and your sides. And we'll just hang out here for a little bit. Remember, I said this is the warm-up, and warm-up is intense, but this part is not that intense. We're just chilling and we're hanging out for a second to get the body used to the position before we start taking it up a notch. All right, so here we are, chilling, trying to get the body, or at least this side, used to this. But on this side, what we're doing is we're keeping the heels down, the toes up, and the knees up. And it doesn't have to be 100% of the time. If you're in between and you want to feel a bit more stable, your feet can totally plant. So this is just in this ending position. I want you to try your best to transition. And you can totally do this without rotating your leg, right? And especially if you're higher up off the ground, you're not quite as deep, this foot can be still totally planted. I want you to consciously make the effort to externally rotate the leg to the outside of the body so that the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knee is pointing up. The reason why this is important is because later in the side split, you need to do this in order to get your thigh bone to not smash into your pelvis, which is a good thing. And what we're doing right now is basically a side split just on one side, right? Obviously, it's not perfectly straight, but getting to a perfectly straight side split is really hard. So this is a side split. Cool? All right, we've had on this side for a long time. Let's switch our butts and get it over to the other side. I recommend you put your hands down and slowly help yourself shift your weight over to the other side. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Knees traveling in the same direction as your toes. Try to bring the knee over the toe. Feel the stretch in the Achilles, in the calves. Feel the pressure in the front of the ankle. Feel the pressure in that hip. We're going to rotate the whole leg to wherever it is comfortable for you. Try to keep the heel down or pretty low to the ground as much as you can. And we're going to chill here for a little bit while I think of something to say so that it's an even amount of time on this side of the hip versus that side of the hip. If you have a coffee, or sorry, if you have water within arm's reach, go ahead, take a sip, chill. I think I'm just gonna have to be unfair to the sip. Actually, no, I got totally a ton of stuff to talk about. This leg, heel down, toes up, knees up. The reasons we just talked about. External rotation, side split. Cool? Next up, we want to start moving from side to side. You don't have to start moving just yet. I'll tell you when you should start thinking about it. Put your hands down. Help yourself get to the other side. We just did this, transitioning. And I would like you to do 10 reps of these. 10 to the left, 10 to the right. If you are feeling like this is going to be crazy and intense, put all of your hands down. Put all that weight into your arms. And it will help relieve the pressure on the legs. If you're feeling a little bit stronger, you want to test out that leg or legs and all the muscles in the groin. You can remove your hands, right? And if you want to make it even harder, you can try to stand up straighter as you go from side to side. Okay, you can start now. We're doing 10. I don't know how many I've already done, but I think this can count as 2. 2, 3, and if your knees are hurting, is struggling in some of the bottom positions, you can try to take a little bit more chill, do a half squat, and then come down with control, come up, go across, and then come down with control. I think that's 4, 5. Again, focus on seeing if you can, as you get to the bottom, rotate the leg out so your heel is down. And this is hard. This is challenging. I'm starting to lose my breath as well. So I'm going to start talking a lot less. I want you to try to hang out in this bottom out position where you're feeling the stretch in the leg here that's extended because it's basically side split. You're feeling all of this sort of compacting on this side. And that's it. I think that's 10. Oh, if you were going at a slightly slower pace, you've taken some breaks. That's okay. No worries. Take care of yourself. Oh, I'm going to sip some coffee and then we'll transition into our stretches. Don't worry. This was the probably most painfully exercisey feeling part of the whole thing. It only gets more chill from here as soon as I catch my breath. Whew. Okay. You still got a couple of seconds, so if you're still working on cossack switches, keep on doing them. We need a cushion for the next stretch, and the next stretch is a hamstring stretch. We are going to make it look something like this. You're going to kneel on the cushion, put the leg out in front of us, and fold forward. So, think about how much cushioning you want for your knee, and go grab it. Oh, Jesus. Sorry. I accidentally kicked the door. And I wouldn't have kicked the door if my yoga blocks weren't blocking the way. If you have a pair of shoes that you don't really care about, you can put it under your knee, and that will give you a little bit of padding. If you got clean towels or dirty towels, I guess, you can roll them up, put them under your knee, give them a little bit of padding. If your floor is not so clean, maybe you want to use a dirty towel. You're ready to do laundry. If it is very clean, then I guess maybe you want to compromise a clean towel for your knee. I am not going to judge. All right, let's go. I hope you're done with the Cossack switches, and I hope you've taken a bit of a break after the Cossack switches, because we are going to move on into the hamstring stretch right now. Hips, shoulders pointed forward. Look ahead as well. Just point everything right in front of you, including your leg. Try not to have it out. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but a lot of people tend to have it at a slight angle in relation to their hips, right? Really try to bring it directly in front of you, along with your hips. That is part one. Easy enough. Next, I want you to pull the hip into the hip socket. So I don't want you to be doing a side split while we're doing this. I want you to, a front split while you're doing this. I want you to pull that leg in, tuck it into the hip capsule, into the pelvis, and then focus on folding down. Whew. Oh man, my hamstrings are super tight today. Okay, that's it. Bring your belly button down to the thigh. Your hamstrings are going to tighten way up. Keep on focusing on bringing the belly button down, because your belly button is at the top of your hips, and that is basically all we care about, whether or not your hips are rotating, your hips are folding. But your belly button is way more fun to talk about. Okay, from here, because your hamstrings are all tight, I want you to take a nice big deep breath in. Slowly exhale, and while you're exhaling, try to get deeper into the stretch. Ow. Okay. Shouldn't be comfortable. Should definitely be uncomfortable. And take some normal breaths. Let's do the whole thing again. Inhale. Slow exhale. And get deeper into the stretch. If you're finding your knee is a little sensitive, is a little achy, is a little tender right now, you can give it a slight bend, remove some pressure off of it, and focus on bringing your chest and your belly button down to the leg first, and then try to straighten it out and get to that point where it's a little bit uncomfortable for your knee, okay? Same stretch, slightly different approach. Cool? All right, for everybody else, straighten out those legs. And we are ready for 30 seconds. Hold this with steady pressure and see if you can get slightly deeper. Maybe you're just doing a tiny little pulse while we count the 30, but I don't think you need any more instructions, so let's do it. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Remember to breathe nice and calmly, and focus on bringing that belly button down. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Ooh. Come on up out of that hamstring stretch. It might take a second for your legs to start feeling normal again before you spin around. And that is all normal and all okay. Switch positions. This is the exact same position I was just in. I always make that mistake. As soon as I turn around, I'm like, which leg did we stretch? Even though it shouldn't really be that hard. Same thing. Stick that leg directly in front of you. Pull it into the hip so you're focusing on just the hamstring stretch. Bring the belly button down towards your thighs. If you need to, you can always put some fingers off to the side to help you balance. Try to straighten the back a little bit. And let's do our inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And deeper. Try to bring the belly button down. Breathe. Let's go. One more. Inhale. Exhale. If you are doing this and getting quite intense, you might even feel a little bit of a stretch in the calf, sort of running down from the hamstrings almost to the heel of your foot. And that is also pretty normal. So good job. Okay. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30. 29. 28. 27. 26. Remember, the goal is to apply steady pressure, and keep on trying to get a little bit more out of the stretch. 21, 21, maybe 21 now. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Remember to breathe. Last couple of seconds. 2, 1, 0. Okay. Oh, take your time. Get out of that position. Move a little bit before you stand. And once your legs are starting to feel a little bit closer to normal, you can get rid of the cushion, get rid of the padding. Just do it gently. Don't break anything. And we are done with the hamstring stretch. That is the first of our 5 stretches. I didn't explain this at all today. So we're doing 5 stretches. The first one is hamstring. The second one is butterfly. Everything that we do is pre-stretching some of the muscles that are going to get in the way when we're trying to get into the side splits. We're preparing them individually, very focused, so that when we do the side splits at the very end, the side split for most of the muscles will be less intense than our focused version of focusing on those muscles. I use the word focus so many times, I don't even know if that sentence made sense, but we do all this to prepare the body for the side splits, to get the hips ready to warm up, and the side splits should be easier because of it, right? That's a sentence that makes sense. Okay. The second stretch is called the butterfly stretch, and it looks a little bit like this. You're going to sit your butt on the ground, you're going to bring your feet together, you're going to pull it in, and your knees are going to be all the way up here. And the goal is to use your leg muscles, so the outer thigh muscles, the groin, or the butt, to stretch out the groin muscles, and try to bring your knees to the ground. This stretch is a little bit challenging, for me at least, because I have to stabilize my body. I really kind of want to roll backwards like this, and that makes it so I'm pulling on my legs. And because I'm pulling on my legs, it's hard to apply pressure into the hip, right? I'm doing this, and I'm also trying to do this all at the same time. So, the quick and dirty solution is you become best friends with this wall. We used it for a little bit of balancing earlier, and now we're going to use it for stability. So, put your hips, your shoulder, your head against the wall. You got this nice straight posture. It's crazy what straight feels like, right? You're like, oh, really? That's, okay. Pull the feet in and get into position. Because the wall is there, because you're not trying to hold yourself forward and keeping you from falling backwards, it's much easier to relax and to let the hip muscles go. A lot of the time when we're trying to stay balanced, we're just contracting everything, and there's just a bunch of tension because we're like, don't let me fall backwards, this is embarrassing. So now that we have the wall, half those muscles are just no longer firing, and you can focus on opening up your legs. All right? We talked about this for a second earlier. I want you to use your outer thigh muscles. I want you to use your glutes. I want you to open up the groin. I want you to bring your knees down into the ground. Those basically all mean the same thing. So start using those muscles. Contract them. See if your legs get deeper. If you want, you can give yourself a little push, and maybe you'll realize that some of the muscles you're actually using is doing the opposite of what you think it is. It's actually pulling your legs in. Ooh, it is really hard to figure that out. It's a fine detail that takes a little bit of time. And I don't know why I'm going on such a long explanation today for this, but I hope you're enjoying your Sunday night. All right. Once you've tried your best to contract all the leg muscles, to bring your knees down into the ground, I want you to take your hands and I want you to apply a little bit of pressure. Or more pressure. That's good too. You're going to feel pressure in your shoulders, your head as you do this, and that's because your body is trying to push from somewhere, right? And luckily, we have the wall. So our head is pushing into the wall, and the wall's now moving. So we're able to put that force right back into our legs and get us into a deeper butterfly stretch. We've been here for a while. I hope you've gotten slightly deeper as we go, because we're going to do another 30 seconds. And 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Let the hands go first. Your legs might be a little bit confused because you were contracting the muscle for so long just now. So, give them a little support. Lift them up. Push the feet away from you as you come out of this position. Give them a little wiggle, a little shake. Use your hands to help you. And after a couple of seconds, they'll suddenly remember that they are legs and their job is to help you walk. So, come back into standing. And we are done with the butterfly. The butterfly is often also called the tailor's pose. So if you're going to Google anything afterwards, butterfly, tailor's pose. All right, that is stretch number 2. Shake out your leg, wiggle a little bit because we spent so much time in that position. And it's a really good position. The groin stretch is basically half of the side split stretch. This thing, the inner thigh stretch, is an adductor stretch, and it's a huge component of the side split itself. So we basically did a half side split up until the point in the knee. Cool? All right, and with that, it's time for us to move on to the third stretch, the standing pancake. The standing pancake looks basically like this. We're going to open up our legs pretty wide. It doesn't have to get uncomfortable. There doesn't have to be any tension or pain in the hips. We're going to fold forward. Bring the belly button down towards the ground. If your chest comes, fine. But don't focus on bringing the chest down. Focus on bringing the belly button down. So you can see my belly button is almost lower than my chest or my neck. And that's what we want to try to replicate. Cool? From here, it looks like I'm just trying to touch my toes, right? But my legs are a little wider open. That is the starting point of the standing pancake. When you are in this position, you might feel your hamstrings start tightening up. That is because gravity is pulling your whole entire upper body down towards the ground. And because your body is being pulled towards the ground, your hamstrings are flexing to help hold you back. Your body doesn't want you to do that. So we're going to do the exact opposite and just make lives really hard for your hamstrings. And that will be the hamstring stretch in the standing pancake. So from here, I want you to imagine the bottoms of your butts, the sits bones, which is basically just the bottom of your pelvis. It's that like bony part of your butt. And I want you to imagine them pointing straight back or even slightly upwards behind you. I want you to imagine tops of your pelvis, so where your pelvis or where your belly button is. I want you to imagine pointing them diagonally down into the ground. That will help you to focus on folding at the pelvis, like so. Oh, okay. That's it. You're thinking about your pelvis. Extend your arms, fold forward, let gravity take you. Give gravity a little bit of assistance and pull yourself down if you want. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, come on out of that stretch. You can put your hands down. Give yourself a little bit of a break. For some reason, that felt super intense today, and that is why I haven't moved since we finished the pancake. I just need a little bit of time, a little bit of a break. Oh, slowly shift your butt around so that you can drag your feet in towards you. So you can do that with the least amount of muscle effort. I'm sad I finished my coffee. Okay, we'll just throw that over there. Go ahead and take a quick water break while we de-stress from the standing pancake. Woo! I drank water way too fast. spilled some off the side. Good thing I'm wearing a dark shirt. Hopefully you won't notice. But I called it out, so now you'll definitely notice. All right, that was our third stretch. We got 2 more to go. And the fourth stretch is the figure 4. The goal is to stretch out the side glute hip muscles. And then finally, we'll be prepared. We'll be totally ready for the side splits. So I hope you've been having fun. I hoped you got a good workout going. Oh, drink some water, chill for a little bit, and we'll get right into the figure 4 stretch. I'm going to scroll through and check the chat to see if there's anything that I've missed. A bunch of people have come in today. Lovely. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Thank you, Lulu, for liking the live a lot. I appreciate it. And scroll to the top to see if I've missed any of the fun conversation today. Oh, man. I think it's been pretty quiet. Cool. Okay. I'm still scrolling. Scroll. And I think that is a sign. Oh, Coco Flan says, I need to get up and stretch from sitting. That is a really good reason to do some stretching. Choco Flan is doing the stretches with us. Lovely. Thank you for being here. I hope you've enjoyed them so far and you're enjoying that we got to take a break. Okay, let's see what we got over here on the other side on TikTok. I got somebody trying to flirt with me, so I apologize. I'm a taken, and I'm not intentionally trying to look cute or anything. I don't do my hair. I don't do my makeup. I wear not particularly flattering, super stretchy long pants. So, okay, let's continue and work on the figure 4 stretch. The figure 4 stretch kind of is, like I said, about the outer hip and the side glute. What we're doing is focusing on that stretch. So what we're doing is bring the leg up and bring the chest down. But when I say chest, I really only care about the hips. The hips are what's coming down, and the chest will come with it. But because we end up curling up into a little ball like this, it feels like the focus is the chest. The focus is actually always going to be the hips and always going to be the belly button. All right? Whew. So let's get into it. We usually do one of 2 stretches. And I can't remember what we did yesterday. I think we did figure 4 yesterday. So let's do pigeon today. I know I've been talking about figure 4 over and over again, but we did figure 4 yesterday. So we're doing the pigeon stretch. I have misspoken. Let's get into a basic pigeon stretch. What we're doing is we're bringing the leg across the body, and we're trying to bring our mid chest sort of in the middle of the knee and ankle. All right? That will look a little bit like this. If you are feeling the stretch out here, sort of in the hip joint, in the outside of the hip, in the side of the glute, then you're doing it perfectly right. There are variations of the pigeon, if you're into yoga, where your back leg is totally straight out behind you and you look a little straighter like this, but it requires a whole bunch more hip flexibility. If you can get into it pretty comfortably and easily, then go for it. There is absolutely zero reason for you to be in this position when we're doing this stretch. You don't have to. You can, if you want to stretch out the hip flexor to strengthen your glute as you contract to work on your hip positioning. But you don't have to be able to get into this position. In fact, you can almost just lay down and roll over. And if you can get into the position like this, then great. You can keep your leg going backwards. If that is a really hard position for you to keep and you can't hold it, it's totally okay for you to bend your knee. We're focused on this hip on the other side. So this leg isn't all that important. It's a nice bonus if you can get the leg back. All right? So if you can, take advantage. If you can't, don't worry about it. Don't focus on it because we're working on the other leg anyway. Cool. That is the basics of the pigeon stretch. And with that, let's get into position and start our 30 seconds. Whew. Stick the leg back if you can. Don't, if you can't, try to aim the midpoint of your chest to the midpoint-ish between your knee and your ankle. Try to keep the hips low to the ground and then fold forward. We are in the pigeon. We're holding it for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. Gravity here is a really good friend. It's doing all the work for us. If you try to straighten out your back a little bit instead of relaxing, you'll feel more pressure at the hip there. If you just completely relax and just tuck your head into the ground and your head is on the ground, you're going to have way less stretch because some of that weight from your heavy head is being supported by the floor instead of being supported by your hip lower back muscles. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. If suddenly this feels really easy, make sure your foot is pushed away from you. That will increase the intensity of that stretch. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, come on out of that. Oh, take a little bit of a breather. You might be feeling a little bit more pressure than you expected in the front of the hip, like front side right here. In the joint itself, you might be feeling a ton of stretch coming out of this side butt action when you're folding forward. And if you have kind of tight hips where you're struggling a little bit with external rotation, you'll have noticed this when we were doing the butterfly. You might feel a bit of a stretch in sort of the groin across the front of the hip area. Cool? That is the completely unscientific normal people way of talking about why and where your hips are tight. So let's go ahead and switch to the other side and work on the other side. Let's go. Once again, cross the leg across your body. Try to aim sort of your middle of the chest to the middle of the leg. If you got really long legs, then you're just going to have to tweak and adjust. But make sure you're feeling the stretch coming out. That side butt, outer hip area. Whew. All right. Once you're in position, keep the hips low. Then try to keep the back decently straight. It doesn't have to be perfect. And fold downwards. Remember, if your head is touching the ground, your head is not being pulled down by gravity anymore because, well, I mean, I guess it always is, but the weight is not felt by your back and is not helping to pull you down into a deeper stretch anymore. So, keep your body off the floor while we're upside down on the floor. Cool. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. Remember to breathe. Remember that your legs are not perfectly symmetrical. You don't use them the same way every single day to do the exact same things. So they're going to have different amounts of mobility. So if you find, oh man, I'm like way higher up on this leg than the other leg, that is totally normal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, okay. That's the pigeon stretch. We are done with that. Oh, take your time. Come on out of it. We spent quite a bit of time there. So if you need to take a little bit of a break, that is totally fine, because we're going to talk about safety in the side splits. So you really should take your time getting out of the sides, getting out of the pigeon. Okay, so everything that we're doing is to prepare us for a really successful round of side split stretches. Okay, and with that in mind, we got to talk about some of the principles behind flexibility. One of them being a lot of the tension that you're feeling, a lot of the tightening of the muscle you're feeling is called the stretch reflex. It's basically your brain's way of protecting your body from getting into positions where you do not have control and trying to keep you safe so you don't get stuck or trapped or in something that you should not be in. But your brain is very conservative. It is going, whoa, 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 whoa. It's like an overprotective mom, all right? And what we need to do is spend a lot of time proving to overprotective mom that we are good, we got this, this is the sport of our choosing, and we are going to crush it, okay? But to keep overprotective mom happy, We want to feel very safe. We want to feel very secure. We want to try our best to make her not nag at us. All right. And what we're going to do is make sure that we're set up in a safe way. In this case, when we are in a deep side split position, and we fall forwards, it's easy enough to catch ourselves with our hands, right? But when we start falling backwards and you're in this kind of stretched up position, it gets really scary and you go, oh. If you fall all the way down, all the way back to the floor, your whole body is going to be super tense. It's going to be stressed out. It's going to be fighting against you, trying to keep you safe. But if you have a wall right behind you and you know that the furthest you can fall is like an extra foot, your hips, your butt is going to land against the wall. Maybe your shoulder, your back is going to hit first. It's not so scary anymore, right? So if you want, you can just go ahead, stand about 8 inches, 12 inches in front of the wall, and then fall backwards a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of a shock. Try not to do it with a doorknob right next to your shoulder because that will hurt a lot more than it needs to. And ta-da, it's not so bad. Cool? All right, so once we've got that figured out, falling doesn't feel so bad. You got some extra safety behind you so you can't fall all the way down and smash your butt into the ground. Awesome. And with that, overprotective mom is like, okay, fine, that's better, that's okay, but stay safe. All right. Now that overprotective mom has been talked about, this is the first time I've used this analogy, so bear with me. Let's get into the actual side splits. We are opening up our legs as wide as they can go and still be relatively comfortable. As soon as your hips are feeling uncomfortable, fold at the hips, bring the belly button down, and put your hands down. What we're doing is going to look a little bit like a push-up. We're not actually doing push-ups, but we do want to put some of the body weight in front of our body into our arms so that there's less weight in the legs because we want to move them. All right. And what we're doing with that movement is external rotation. We are putting the heels down, the toes up, and the knees up. Okay. And we're doing that on both sides. Heels down, toes up, knees up. I don't know what just happened. I need a sneeze. Whew. Is it gone? Seems like it's gone. Okay, cool. Maybe the floor is dusty. I haven't swept today. I see lots of little hairs and dust bunnies. Whew. And I guess I just agitated them right into my nostrils. Okay, once you're here, try your best to walk your hands back towards your hips. It'll put some of that weight that we took off right back into your legs. The stretch will start to get a little bit more intense. And see if you can do a little bit of a wiggle from side to side to break that last little bit of friction holding your feet back. Once you're stuck and you can't move, 30 seconds, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. Oh man, today's a rough day. I'm really struggling. 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, almost done, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, walk your hands forward like we were doing with the push-up. Pull the legs in. And you can just chill and hang out, kneel for a second. Wait for your legs to recover a little bit. Once they're feeling okay, you can come back into standing and we're going to start shaking them out. What we just did was tense a whole bunch of muscles because overprotective mom analogy, here it comes, was going, no, 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 that's not safe. We are holding us back. And wow, you can tell this is the first time using this analogy because I immediately had a brain fart and couldn't continue. Regardless, all that tension in the leg is the opposite of what we want right now, right? So before we go back into round 2 of the side split, we want to relax. We want them to loosen up. We want them to have a fresh start in a new school and give them a little less burden while we are trying to get our second side split for the day. Okay, so what that looks like is we are shaking out the leg. We're relaxing, we're wiggling, we're flapping around, and If all the movement looks like it's coming from my ankle, that's because a lot of it is, but some of the movement is coming from the knee, some of it is coming from the hip, and this is just the front and back. Right? I want you to almost imagine like you're flicking water off your body. It's a good way to start. And as you do a couple of seconds, 5, 10 seconds on each side, things will loosen up and you'll feel a lot more normal after. Okay, I feel like I spent so much time on the other leg, it's unfair to not spend more time on this leg, but I really just want to continue. All right, now that we've done that, your legs are feeling a little bit more loosened up, we're going to do a couple of joint checks to make sure that your joints are working, they're able to support weight and do what they're supposed to do. So we're hip circles. We're doing hip circles. You don't have to do very many. Just aim for a lot of range of motion to make sure nothing feels painful and everything is working. We're going to do the high knees real quick. Then we're going to pop into this mini squat. Put some pressure on the knees here. Put some pressure on the ankles there. Do a little bit of a calf raise to get your feet, muscles, and bones all working. And with that, we're done with the checks. You can go back to shaking a little bit because we're going to get into round 2 of the side splits. Shake them out. Shake, 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 shake. If you are just joining in and have no idea why we are just randomly shaking and looking goofy, that is because we are doing some side split stretching. We do a live 45 to 60-ish minutes side splits show every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and hopefully together we can suffer on the floor, make some jokes, have good vibes, and make the suffering a little less awful. So we can make progress towards our goals. And the goal is side splits. So if that random spiel that I kind of made up on the spot makes any sense, hit follow, hit subscribe. We're here every single day to practice a little bit of consistency. Whew. All right, I hope your legs are relaxed. I hope they're feeling good because we are getting into round 2 of our side splits. Let's go. Let's stand a foot or a footstep in front of the wall so that if we fall backwards, the wall will protect us. Open up those legs, nice and wide. You might feel like you're already going deeper than the first time. Thank you, relaxing. Fold forward, put your hands down to put some of that body weight into your hands so that you can externally rotate the feet so that the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up on both sides. Now, from here, walk your hands back towards your hips. Whew. And that will put all that body weight right back into your legs. Do a little bit of a wiggle from side to side to see if there's a little bit of friction holding you back. I keep hitting the door with my butt. That's what that ringing sound is, if you can hear it. Here we are. That is the side split position. 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, almost there, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, crawl your hands forward. Pull the legs in, nice and slow. If you're struggling with that, by the way, and you need to crawl so far forward that you're just basically lying down, it's nice to lie down. So go ahead and do that. There's no need to feel embarrassed. Okay, that is the second side split. We're almost done with the workout. We got one more round of side split, but before we do that, we got to shake out the legs. We got to loosen up the hips. We got to get our legs prepared for that third round. Let's go. Come back up into standing. Gently shake. Try to, flick the water off your foot. And as you get a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more loose, you can flick a little bit more aggressively. And if you're wondering why flicking does anything, is because if you were really tense, then you would start working like a robot. All of your biggest muscles would be doing all the work, and you'd be like this, right? You'd be like a dated, that clapping monkey toy running around going, ha, 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 ha. But what we want is flowy, loose, and floppy. In the past, we've called it ramen noodles, soggy ramen noodles, where you just drop it and it just goes flip. And that is what we want our legs to do. We want our legs to be noodles. Noodles be by choice, not noodles because you have no choice and your legs are fried. Noodles because we want to control the noodle magic. All right. Whew. Once your hips are starting to feel more or less normal, I want you very intentionally to do some internal rotation, to rotate the knee inwards. I want you to feel the sort of hip muscles kind of moving. This intentional movement is just to get a little bit of movement from the hip, because most people will just be flicking their leg front and back and not from side to side. Whew. So once you've done that, it's time to do some hip checks. Let's go. Hip circles. Whew. Left and right. Whew. High knees. Don't have to do that many. Just make sure there's no discomfort, no pain. We're going to do the mini squat. Feel some pressure in the knees. Feel some pressure in the ankles. Come up on those toes for a calf raise. And with that, our checks are done. It's almost time for round 3. If you are still feeling like you need a little bit more shaking, go ahead and take it. I know I'm spending a lot of time on the recovery in between each of the stretches. I promise the more relaxed you are in between each one, the easier it will be to get into a deeper stretch. If you, for example, are doing an exercise and you just did 10 push-ups, imagine 10 push-ups are challenging for you. And inevitably somebody's gonna be like, only 10? That's not much. Imagine 10 push-ups are challenging for you. If you don't take any break and you try to keep doing more, you'll maybe get like 2 more out, right? Like you take a half-second breather and you're like, I'm gonna do more. And then you're like 2. But if you take like 2 minutes off, you can almost maybe get 9, maybe 10, right? And that's the goal. We want to let our body relax and reset in between each stretch so that it can do its best and we can train and beat overprotective mom's, safety requirements by getting into the deepest position that we can get into. All right. With that, I think I have nothing else to talk about. So let's do round 3 of side splits. We're taking one step in front of the wall so that if we fall backwards, the wall will catch us and keep us safe. We are opening up those legs, folding forward, putting our hands down like we're doing a push-up, but we're really just shifting some weight forward so it's easier to externally rotate the legs so that our heels are down, our toes are up, and our knees are pointing up. You might magically feel like, oh wow, I'm slipping way further open already. Awesome, amazing. Walk those hands back towards your hips and put that body weight right back into your legs. Your stretch is going to get a little bit more intense. Whew. And then finally, do a little wiggle from side to side to make sure that your friction is not holding you back. Oh. And with that, it's time for our final 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Take nice, slow, deep breaths. 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Almost done. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right. Walk your hands forward. Slowly pull the legs back in. Hang out in that kneeling position for a second if you need to. We try to rest in between to get maximum range of motion, but that does not mean the post side split intensity gets any less. So, once you can, come back into standing. Let's once again relax and shake out those muscles. If you're like, we just did the last stretch, why are you still shaking? It's because I want you to go back to whatever you got in the rest of your day and not be in a compromised position. I want your muscles to all be relaxed so they can fire the way you want them to and not be like, oh, look, my hips are not working right now. Cool? All right, shake, 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 wiggle, 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 flop around, and This is a skill, by the way. It looks like a really goofy skill, but mastering relaxation in the body is a very useful skill for the same exact reason why I just gave you about what was it, the push-ups. The quicker you can relax, the looser you can get, the more fast, the more explosive you can be. If you care about martial arts, for example, you'll know that a lot of techniques require basically some sort of whipping action to get maximum speed and power. And if you are tense the whole time, it's going to be much slower and much less whippy than if your arms are relaxed. So it's a skill. I'm not saying I'm particularly good at the skill, but you do get a little bit better as you practice. Cool. Ugh, your legs, hopefully, are a little bit more relaxed. Let's do very intentional internal hip rotation, and we can call this a dance move if you'd like. I prefer to call it a dance move. We're doing some stanky leg. We're doing some, I don't know what these are called. I have long since forgotten, but I want you to try some of these. And once you've done a couple, your hips have rotated in and out. Then we're ready for some last checks. Hip circles. You only gotta do one or two. Try it on this last round to do them both directions. High knee. You only need to do one or two. Just make sure those knees are good. Some mini squats. Put some pressure in the knees, pressure in the ankles. Come up onto those toes. Work that calf raise for a second. And with that, we are done. Congratulations. Thank you for being here, working those leg muscles, working those hip muscles. And I put the yoga block down too early, so now I have to finagle my way over. Whew. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for joining in, practicing consistency with me, engaging in the community, hang out in the chat. Mary Harrell says, I need to leave. I enjoyed the stretch. Thank you for being here. I hope you got some good stretching done, and I hope your hips feel better. Ooh, okay, come back. We start, I imagine most of you didn't start right at the very beginning. So we usually start with a warm-up. And the warm-up, the very first warm-up exercise is called hip cars. And it looks like this. We try to get maximum range of motion out of our legs. And because the first thing that we do, it works all of the muscles in the hips a little bit. And it really kind of is not that fun because it's like creak, 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 crack, 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 creak, 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 crack, 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 crack. And we're trying to do all of these movements. If you haven't already and you've joined for some of the live, I want you to try to do hip cars and see if you feel how much smoother it is, how much easier it is to control maybe this point right here, trying to keep the ankle high or trying to bring the leg back behind you compared to when you first started. And the reason why I'm saying this is because your body is capable of a bunch of stuff. Sometimes it just requires a ton of warm-up in order to get it prepared for the cool things that it can do. And so if there's any takeaway message, if this is your only time that you're ever going to be here because you're like, oh, this guy is weird, then know that you got to warm up. Life is so much cooler when you're warmed up and ready to go do cool stuff. All right? And you're so much more skilled and cool when you're warmed up than when you're not. So if you're watching a YouTube video and you're like, oh, I could do that. And you're like, oh no, I cannot do that. This is not okay for me. Next time you try that, warm up. Give yourself 10 minutes. Jump around, I don't know, do jumping jacks, do some squats, move your shoulders, whatever it is that you need to do, and then do it again. I promise you'll perform way better. Okay. That is everything I got for today. I'm going to scroll through the chat and see if there's anything else, any questions that have come in, and I'm going to answer those the best I can, and then we'll wrap up for today. Shona says, thank you so much, with a nice emoji. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here, and thank you for practicing. Thank you for spending time here practicing some side split stretches. All right. Lena2415 on YouTube says thanks. Of course. Thank you for being here. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and you can keep coming back because we are here all the time, every day. And if you don't believe me, you don't believe my consistency, you're like, who's this random dude on the internet telling you to come back every single day. You can go to my YouTube channel at Splits on the side. I have uploaded basically every single live that wasn't super glitched out or like randomly paused at minute 4. And there should be like 100 videos or something of just really long side split workouts. You don't have to watch those. Those aren't all that fun. It's way more fun to be in the live and like engaging in the chat and hearing other people as we go. But if timing doesn't work out in the future, you can do that. I'm working on another like actual regular YouTube video where we do the whole workout with very thoughtful explaining, so I don't randomly just go on tangents. And it's a little bit shorter, I think. So if you are tight on time, if the live time doesn't work out and you're still really consistent, then you can go check out that video. It will be up probably by the end of the week. Gayeta says, Ken, I do not have the strength to keep toes up during this last movement. Will this come over time, or do you recommend additional work? Okay, so in the last movement, hold on, let me see if there's any other information. Gayeta, is the last movement the actual side splits? Or are we talking about another stretch? I think in general, you can not focus so much on pointing your, yeah, it's pretty close to the bottom of the chest, so it's probably side splits. In general, you can focus less on pointing your toes up. I need to exaggerate it so that you all the way over there can see what's happening with my legs. I want you to try your best to turn the leg outwards. And if your problem is that your leg is turned outwards, but you can't lift the front of your leg and your toes are pointing out, that is fine because that helps your leg to rotate out, and the thigh bone, leg bone smashing into each other thing you have already avoided. All right. And I said that in kind of an unclear way, so let me try to rephrase. The goal of this external rotation, where we end up with our toes pointing up, right, is to make sure our thigh bone and where it connects with our pelvis, our hip bone, is clear, and there is no way the little nubs in your leg bone smashes into the bones of your hip bone. I said bones plural, but just we're making sure the bones don't smash into each other. It looks kind of like this, and at some point this nub will get stuck in your hip. So when we rotate, that nub goes behind us, right? So if you're struggling with lifting your toes up, but your whole leg has turned out, then that's fine. We can keep going with the side splits. But if your problem is you can't rotate out, and the symptom is your foot is not going up into the air, your toes aren't pointing up into the sky, then we definitely need to work on that external hip rotation. So let me know which one you're struggling with. If it's just that your toes cannot point up, that's fine. It's not a big deal. And there is an exercise we can do for that. Guy at this says the side split, of course. Nice. And Lulu Minion says, thank you so much. See you tomorrow. Thank you for coming in. I think you're like the first, second, maybe third person in, Lulu, and you stayed for the whole time. So I appreciate you for being here, being a part of the community, and hanging out. Okay. Gayeta says in the side split. Yeah, I think I need one more answer. Yes, you explained perfectly. Thanks. Okay, awesome. Yes, okay. So in that case, if you are concerned a little bit about your toes pointing up, I want you to know that, how do I show this in the most useful way? When your toes point down, right, your calves are working, they're contracting, and because they're contracting, they're shortening this distance, and that causes your toes to point, right? And the opposite is what happens when we want the toes to point up. It is called a flexed foot. So a lot of that comes from having loose calves so that your calves aren't fighting against the stretch, but also having strong tibialis muscles. So the tibialis is a muscle that kind of goes from here to here, and its job is to point the toes back towards your face, so flexing your foot. So to strengthen this muscle, there's a really easy exercise that you can do at home. Again, you got to get right back to your best friend, the wall. And if you have your feet away from the wall and you put your butt against the wall so that you're at a little bit of an angle, I can't demonstrate this very well, but my feet are like 2 feet away from the wall. Actually, I guess I want to show that the muscles are contracting. From here, with your hips against the wall, if you work on just lifting your toes up, these muscles will start flexing real hard. And maybe the first rep isn't so intense, but if you do 15, 20, 25 of these, then they will start getting very challenging. I'm pretty sure the further away you have your feet, the more intense that will be, the more difficult it will be. And if at some point, and anybody else watching feels like, oh, I'm way too strong for these, this isn't intense enough, you can do these with one leg. You can do these really extended with one leg. And it's probably going to hurt your heel more than you're going to be able to contract that muscle. But you can go ahead and try those for strengthening. Oh man, I just smashed the yoga blocks into the ground. But you can try those for getting that foot to flex and your toes to point up. It's not absolutely critical for our side splits training, but you should do it anyway because you want your legs to move better. If you start running a lot, that muscle might be irritated and unhappy with you because it wants to be able to have your feet not drag against the floor a little bit. And running, if you want to do that, might help naturally just make the movement happen so you don't have to go out of your way to train it very intentionally. You can just go for a run, and it won't be perfect. It won't be the fastest way to get stronger there, but you get some other benefits like running. So pick your poison, or pick your good stuff that you have to spend time on. Cool. All right, let's go on through the chat, see if there's anything else to address. We got a whole bunch of people following. Lovely. If you're still here, I hope by now you've heard what we do. We do 45-ish, 60-ish minutes of live side split stretching every single day to practice consistency, to build a bit of community. I encourage you to engage in the chat, get to know each other, ask questions, and I will do my best to help. If I have no idea what the answer is to some of these questions, I'm going to send you probably to another person on YouTube who will give you better explanation. And with that, I think I'm pretty much done. Sheena, thank you for the lovely engagement, hitting likes and the support. I really appreciate it. Okay. I'm just trying to scroll to the very top of the chat to make sure I didn't miss anything. Gayeta, thank you for the heart hands thing. I really thought that was a shrimp the first time I saw it, and every time I see it now, I go, ooh, shrimps. But I know what it is. I appreciate it. Okay, I think I've scrolled pretty much to the top, and I'm not seeing any other messages. So with that, we are wrapping up the TikTok, and we got a comment right as I said that on YouTube. Niall asks, what are you doing? We just wrapped up 60-ish minutes of live side split stretching. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's probably not the time zone that you're in, so you're going to have to check. But we schedule the YouTube live out before the live actually happens, and it's an hour before right now every single day. So you can come in and join us for that. We got a whole bunch of people on TikTok and fewer people on YouTube who come in every single day to practice consistency. If you're in India, I think it's probably really early in the morning for you, 6, 7 in the morning or something. So, if that makes sense, feel free to join in. We do live side split stretching every single day to practice consistency. And the goal is to build a little bit of community of other people trying to work on the side splits so that it's a little bit more fun for you to work on the side splits. You got a little bit of community, other people are suffering on the floor the same as you, and makes, the suffering a little bit less bad so that it's easier to make some progress in the side splits. That's what we do. We're just trying to make some progress in the side splits. And if that sounds cool, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep coming back, because then this is the place for you. Cool. All right. Gayeta says, okay, I get it. I will try those. Lovely. Fantastic. All right. That's it for me for today. I hope you had fun. Shona says, okay, for me, it's the perfect time in Texas. Yes, that is very intentional. That my only functional language of English is hitting the US audience. Okay, that's it for me. I'll see you all tomorrow. I hope you had fun. I hope you feel good. I hope you feel stretched out, maybe even relaxed, so that maybe go into bed. You're feeling nice and comfortable. But, maybe don't go to bed immediately because your blood is still pumping from the side splits. Okay, that's it. Goodbye. See you tomorrow. All right.